Kathleen Kennedy in here and tell her that if it doesn't make 900 million, she's fucking fired. And Indy has fucking bombed hard. Well, they did it to themselves. Right now, that just that entire Hollywood community is kind of they're all suffering from the same mind virus, and if you just hang out in those circles, you become one of them. You get assimilated, even if you don't want to hang out in those circles and be one of them. They kind of force you into it. It's like fucking Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like, the social pressure is that fucking hard there, I guess. Yeah, with the Crystal Skull. Well, look at it this way. At least Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull isn't the worst one anymore. There's no way you can screw it up more than Crystal Skull. Hold my beer. I got you, fam. So I was watching a YouTube video, Film Theory, about how the fridge scene in Crystal Skull, there is a 50-50 shot that he could have fucking survived that. Like, they did all the math and all the stuff, and I'm pretty sure that he'd be, like, liquid. But the one thing that... Well, he could have survived the impact, technically, from the calculations and everything that was done, and the force of impact the human body can take, and blah, 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 blah. There was something like a 50-50 chance that he could make it. But what they didn't fucking account for is radiation. He was definitely dead because of radiation. You got to watch the Film Theory video, like the math that they put into it and the physics involved. It's actually there. It makes sense that it could be. Now, would I fucking try it? Or, like, do you think Hollywood would ever put a stuntman in there to try it? I'll put it that way. I don't fucking think so, because that's way too big of a fucking risk. But with the maths, I guess it works out. For a 50-50 shot. But still, I don't know many people that would put their ass on the line for a fucking coin flip. Well, I don't think it was Miles. That was one of the things that was misunderstood in our remembering of it in the mind. If you rewatch the scene, I don't think it's Miles. I think it's maybe a mile. Like, that's part of the calculation in the equation. But even then, even if it's a low grade nuclear weapon, that's fucking having to deal with that much radiation that close. You're fucked. Well, and it also depends on how much of the impact was actually hit too, because you have to actually worry about the initial blast wave or whatever. Like, was the blast wave actually cushioned by hitting a burr or something like that? Because that's the way that you actually have a chance of surviving a fucking nuclear blast, is if you can get behind a fucking hill, dirt, or anything like that, where it fucking mostly goes fucking over you. If you put your head towards the fucking front of it, and then the blast goes over you because you have fucking earth in front of you, then that's the thing that gives you a chance. But I don't know. Like I said, the video was interesting. I don't think I still agree with it. There's no way in fuck that it. And here's the biggest thing in my opinion: it doesn't keep it from being fucking stupid. Oh, and another thing that they don't talk about is how lucky was he that the door just came open, because those old refrigerators latched and didn't come open from the inside. Could you imagine how awful that would be, that you survive the fucking nuclear blast and you're like, oh, I'm alive, and then you go to push on the door and you're like, ah, fuck. Well, no, it'd be asphyxiation because those are airtight, so you die of lack of air within probably about 20 minutes. Do you remember those crazy commercials from the 80s where they'd like be like, don't play near the refrigerators, kids? Like, I remember from G.I. Joe. And knowing is half the battle. Where's Timmy? Check that refrigerator. There he is. Oh, thank God you found me. And knowing is half the battle. Refrigerators were the best hiding place. I mean, when I'm playing hide and seek, the first thing I do is go to the fucking trash pile to hide. Between that and the forest, those are the two of the worst maps for me because of the fucking getting lost. Why? But oh yeah, I just gotta ask, did you just run from him or did you murk him? Yeah. I haven't got there yet. Oh, there's a... So it's just like a giant saw blade? There's a weapon like that that's in Elden Ring. Yeah. Yeah, they get... I got something like that similar. They got something similar like that in Elden Ring. That's a really crazy weapon. If you can actually get it to connect, you can just like sit there and like hover the blade above whatever you're fighting, and it just fucking dies. I'm doing some lawn care. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And every time you plus it up, don't they get stronger every time you plus it up? They're like, well, they're like, oh no, we're not gonna make this shit easy on you. Yeah. Yeah, I think they said the article I read. It's like for every point of damage increase after that, it's like two extra of the stats. So like if it's a strength based S tier weapon, then it's like 2 more points to get 1 more damage. Yeah. Like when they're talking about diminishing returns, they're like, no, 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 no. We mean diminishing returns.
しまった、捕虜が。
フォルドラ、下がれ。貴様は兵をまとめておけ。
は、了解であります。
そこのメスどもは期待外れだった
I
が。
think there is,
貴
but I
様
think
は楽
it's
しませてくれる。
not worth getting to. Yeah, I think it's like 999. That's cool. That's one of the DLC ones. The blood bullet or whatever. Oh, so you pretty much have to build around that if you want to do that. Oh, kind of crazy. Oh, the one that's like the chick inside like the model's almost the same as the chick that's inside the church that transforms into the beast, except it's all on fire. Yeah.
追撃しますか。やめておけ。まずは生存者の救助を最優先にしろ。はっ。しっかりしろ。大丈夫か。あれがアラミゴ総督ゼノス。貴様ほどの手だれが膝をつくことになるとは。
And then it can pop up and go,
やだよ
roar.
ヤシトラ死なないで。
I have a beef
大丈
claw.
夫、助けてみせるわ。アルフィノ君、コンラッドさんの治療は任せて
Oh,
わよ。
what does that do? Oh yeah, I forgot. I gotta put on the rune. Hold on one second. Oh shit!
あなたは私を手伝って、ヤシトラが動かないように抑えてちょうだい。
Yeah. Oh, that's Patches. That douchebag, that's Patches. You can just use the hunter's mark and just get back up to the place. Truth. More souls. But you know how like he kicks you off the ledge there? I guess in every Souls game, with the exception of actually he does it in Elden Ring even. That he like tricks you to go near a fucking cliff and fucking kicks you off it. Does that actually do anything, or is it just kind of like a? Yeah, but. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's another weird thing that carried over to Elden Ring then, because in Elden Ring, the first time you fight him, you like go to loot this chest and he's like, "Ha! You can't steal my stuff!" and like hops down from a ledge and starts fighting you. And if you fight him and then like he gets low health, he'll like start to beg, "No, no, no! Please don't kill me! Please, please don't kill me!" And then if you like stop attacking and just wait, it like end the battle, and then like he'll like stand up and be like, "Oh yeah," and you can interact with him and you can interact with him and buy shit from him. One of the worst things about the rocks too is the hitbox is fucking weird. I could never figure it out. It's almost exactly like acts like a cluster bomb. Like you have the main impact, and then you have like a bunch of like other impacts near it. So if you're just unlucky enough for it to be thrown while you're fucking playing, you're gonna get hit by something because it's horse shit. Another thing that's frustrating about that zone is there are a lot of weapon upgrade mats that are just kind of like hidden in that zone. At least it's not as bad as the Scarlet Rot. It's bad. I don't like it. But it's not as bad as the Scarlet Rot. Yeah. Scarlet Rot's essentially like the fast poison in Bloodborne. How like your fucking life just starts fucking rocketing down fast. Yeah, that's essentially that's how they differentiated it in Elden Ring, was you had poison, then you had the Scarlet Rot. So one was super fast, oh shit, I'm gonna die poison, and the other one was just annoying poison. Between that and the wagon wheel, which one's the more twisted weapon? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get there. I'm just trying to get to Japan in Final Fantasy XIV. I hope that's a big fucking maze too. And it's all there just to fuck you up. Oh, I'm just gonna shoot in the dark here, but did a cocksucker hit you with a boulder? That is one thing that's a little annoying about the game sometimes, is that sometimes you just want to hurry up and get through an area, and like sometimes it feels like it makes you go slow, and then you watch a video of someone doing it and they just fucking run past no problem. Do 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 do. You're like, why the fuck can't I do that? Exactly. Good push, good push. I don't always betray my friends, but when I do, I kick them off a cliff. Dos patches. You'll rarely, sometimes, when you don't realize it and don't want it, show up as a merchant. Or you can have a rune that you already have. So many skitters in that zone, though. Chunks are the hard ones to get. Although I think there's a design dungeon that you can get chunks out of. The one that you know how like you got the rune room in the Chalice dungeons? The rune room that you showed me? I mean the soul room, free souls. I think there's a similar one for chunks where you go in and you beat the boss, you get like 3 chunks per beating the boss. And like it's yeah.
どうやら間に合ったようですね。
あら、売り。
That's the weird thing. Japanese people don't have to smoke that to come up with these ideas. They just like sit around. They're like, my life is just despair. I wish this thing would eat me. Oh yeah, people, like, even though like the thing, well, I mean, just looking back at like the Sengoku Jidai and how people like kind of like, yeah, the samurai age when people were in honorable combat and all that other stuff. No, they did some fucking crazy, cruel shit during the Civil War. Like ours was fucking bloody and fucking the American Civil War was fucking bloody and fucking cruel and like a weird fucking transition of like warfare versus weaponry, but it still wasn't as, I don't know if it could be considered as brutal as like what the Japanese did to each other. Like in what context? Like I know that like well, I know that a lot of people like say that like Japan didn't do anything to the U.S. and that until they attacked Pearl Harbor, and there was no reason for that to happen. When it turns out that like, well, the U.S. did kind of do a huge oil embargo, so that's a thing. Yeah, that like they were like the amount of fuck we give about your religion is 0. Can I go off on a tangent for like half a second on that? A weird one to look up is General Yi. Admiral Yi. Admiral Yi was a Korean admiral, because it's not like the Japanese were one day like, we're just gonna fucking go over to Korea and take over. No, they've been trying it for a long, long fucking time before that. But they kept on getting knocked back by Admiral Yi for during the campaign that they were initially trying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also heard that there was like a bunch of rhetoric about how, even though it wasn't true, the rhetoric was there that the Chinese was going to kill the Japanese families if they didn't do this and blah 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 blah. No, well, that's the way. That's like the, like I heard that rhetoric was there. I don't know for sure. I don't have any proof in front of me. Because it seems like that's how they always tried to spin it for the battle against the U.S. The U.S. is coming. They've come before. They're going to take over our nation and kill all of our people and rape all of our women and destroy your families and all that stuff. But they said that about the... Well, and they did that about Korea too, where they were like, you see how we went over there to try to, they like, it was like informational warfare where they'd be like, we just went over there to trade with our army. Yeah, it was definitely just trade with our army, and they fought us back with their navy. You see how they're trying to kill us all? They're definitely going to try to come here next, so we need to go there and kill them first. Yeah. Well, if you want to get really into some interesting war stuff, if you look up like Western war philosophies versus Eastern war philosophies, that's a rabbit hole to go down because Asian philosophies tend to be much more flippant with sacrificing lives for their goal. And like we're like during World War II, like we're like we're sending them there. They'll probably die, but it's for the good of the nation. Oh no, they died. It sucks that they died. Oh no, it's horrible. Like in a lot of Asian cultures, it'd be like, their job was to die. They love it that they died. Yeah. Well, and do you know what other warrior society did that? Didn't train for suicide, but pretty much made them lower than low. The Spartans. If you were found to break ranks or or flee from battle or not make it to a battle properly, like they assumed you were a deserter and all that stuff, you were on a social tier that was lower than the slaves of Sparta. One of the ones that I read was really freaky was I think they called it Science Facility 13 or something like that. Yeah, I'd have to look it up, but like they did some like crazy Japan did some crazy experimentation in China that was war that was like that was up there with fucking Auschwitz and all the other genocidal. Yeah. Well, and here's another rumor. I don't know how true it is or whatever, but I guess that there's supposed to be some evidence that the Great Wall of China, that they used bodies of prisoners and deserters and everything else for mortar inside the wall. Because they were running because they were running so short on it, they'd leave the bodies out in the dry climate overnight, wait for them to essentially mummify, and then break it up into powder as good as they can, and then mix it in with the mortar. I think it's more of a psychological thing for that you need to work or else you're one of them. Well, that's also one of the weird things about Japan is in matters of war, the Emperor really doesn't have that much influence. The Emperor is more of a figurehead. The cruelty that's inherent in man, then you'll go to repeat it. Well, that's the problem with our university system today, and everybody being continuously silenced because it's triggering all this other stuff. It's like you teach a history class that, like, yeah, back in ancient times, the armies used to be marauding forces. They'd go in there and rape the women. You said rape. I'm fucking triggered. I'm sorry. That sucks for you. I know that your past may have been traumatic in some way with that, but that doesn't change that it happened. And now, luckily, because of Western morals and obligations, we luckily don't do that anymore. Well, another theory that's really interesting about Japanese people is that, have you ever heard of the, God, I can't remember who it is, but like the shadow of the human? The shadow is like all your dark instincts and desires and all that other stuff, and like, yeah, and the more you try to repress your shadow and repress yourself, the more it comes to the forefront and the more it wants to be exposed, which is why, like, the U.S. generally is kind of a repressive society, so you tend to see a lot of people, especially in the repressive cultures of the U.S., getting really into the fucking serial killer documentaries because that part of their shadow's there in them. They haven't, like, confronted it and accepted it. But there's a lot of repression in Japan, so their shadow tends to, like, really develop. Yeah, exactly, and that's part of the shadow. That's part of the shadow too. But, no, it's more of a it's more of a metaphor. It's not like an actual like spiritual shadow on people. It's like more of a metaphor of everybody's got this dark side, and you instead of you kind of got to accept it and move on from it instead of trying to repress it. Because the harder you repress it, the more it's just going to come to the forefront of your mind. Do you know why? Because I think it's because around 21, 22, 25 is when you get tired, and you just don't stop being tired. Yeah. Even worse, they're walking around in a G-string, and they should be walking around in a G-string. Yeah. The will to rebel. Everybody. Fun fact about coffee: 90% of the planet is caffeinated. Oh yeah. It's not Toriyama. That's the guy that does the art for Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Warrior. Oh god, I know that and I can't fucking think of it. Fuck. I think Akira there are a couple of projects that Akira Toriyama did work for with Studio Ghibli. Ghibli. Oh shit. Level up. Bastardos. The bullshit fucking frenzy mechanic. It's gonna keep building even after you've killed the thing that's causing it.
どうやら怪物はすべて始末できたようだね。
手下から連絡がありました。ミゼリー号の方も修理が終わったとのこと。これで航海を再開できそうです。
やれやれ、海の怪談話なんてもうごめんだよ。早々にこの島から離れるとしよ
Not at the moment. Ugh.
Pon
pon yashite.
そのさらに東の海に浮かぶは東の国。
Way, way, pon, pon, pon. Way, way, pon, way, pon, way, way. Everything is pon. Everything is pon. I made it to Kugane.
長く鎖国を続けるこの国の中で、ただ一つ、
にに
とつ国に開かれた
に
港、クガネ。
There's another Pami Pami one that my kids like that goes candy, 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 sweetie, sweetie, girls love chewing, 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 candy love. Yada, yada, yada. I got 54 reviews in my Wanikani queue. Uh-huh. Wanikani is the program I got on my phone that's teaching me katakana. No, not katakana. It's teaching me kanji. No, I know hiragana and katakana. It's just no kanji, not romanji. I know romanji too. Weirdly enough, who would think? Although the weird thing about romanji is they still don't spell it the way that it should be spelled, and it works. Like out on my train station, they have a place that's called Jimuji, and they like spell it out so that in romanji it says Jinmuji, but it's not Jinmuji, it's Jimuji. So, like, spelt out. So, like, spelt out. Like, if you were to copy, like, what the letters are supposed to spell in hiragana there, it'd spell out differently than they spelt it in romanji. But I don't know if it's I'm getting it wrong. No, I know that, like, letter-wise I'm not getting it wrong, but I don't know if, like, maybe, like, there's a little bit of a weird translation because the kanji meaning of the word is different or something like that. I don't know. Japanese is, for a dying language, it's much more complicated than it needs to be. English isn't dying though, yet. Duolingo would argue with you about that. It's the most learned second language in the world. Now, are you talking about correct English or are you talking about English?
異国だろうとなんだろうと酒場ですることといえば決まってます。早速情報収集を。
おや、これは失礼を。暁の決命の方々とお見受けします。皆様をお迎えに。
You know what I think they do? I think they don't. That's what it is. They don't want to. They want to. I've entered into many conversations with people lately where they don't hear what I'm actually saying in the conversation. They hear what they need to hear and what they wanted to hear and respond to themselves before responding to me.
会長のロロリとの名代として皆様を我が召喚に招待します。
ロロリと会長だって。
Which,
東アルデナー
like,
ル商会
the weird biblical implications of that is, like, isn't that like what happened with, like, the Tower of Babel? Is, like, people stopped speaking the same language even though the language was the same?
そうは言っても、東の果てに来てまで、ウルダ派の商人に歓迎される理由はないと思うが。
So he stopped them from being able to understand each other, even though they're speaking the same language.
クリスタルブレイブの一件が未だに尾を引いておられるので、また我が会長に利用されるのではないかとお疑いのようです。
失礼だが。
Well, I mean, you're looking at it from like a ridiculous Bible story, but what if this was a space story told through primitive caveman fucking mind? Maybe they were building like a fucking space elevator to try to get up to the people that are in charge of the planet, and like they fucking had like a device implanted in people that allowed them to be able to communicate with each other without any problems with the fucking lingual barrier. And then all of a sudden, they're like, no, these people are going to rebel. We must destroy the Tower of Babel.
ではこちらも担当直入に申し上げるが完全に信用できぬものの館に入る
most important thing when you're hitchhiking through the galaxy.
なぜ我々を招待しようというのか確認させてもらい
Don't forget to bring a towel!
さすが噂の振動
Was it goodbye or was it so long? And thanks for all the fish.
ここクガネは鎖国を続ける東の国で唯一異国に
Do you remember how it actually ended?
そのため異国の召喚が立ち並んでいるのですが
Earth got remade, and it turns out that the reason the people were so stupid is because they were populated by middle managers.
知っていますか
No, but the humans that they had on the planet weren't the smart humans. They were the middle managers and meddlers.
となると、この町には帝国人もいるのね。
And one of the most intelligent beings in the universe, mice.
そういうことです。華やかな貿易港に見えて、クガネは政治と諜報の最前線。ですから。
Do you see what the free game was this month? I think one looked like it had potential. Let me look at it again real quick. Oh, Alan Wake remastered. That's worth a playthrough. It's not super long. It's got a couple cool psychological things. I'll bet it'd be easy trophies. Yeah, ish. Yeah, same genre. And the latest one to come out for that's the latest rehash, is they redid Resident Evil 4. Leon? Yeah, you had, and Leon and Claire were the ones in Resident Evil 2. Leon and Claire Redfield. Mm-hmm. Gotcha! Doon 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 doon. So, I'm gonna tell a tale about when we went to visit a place in Japan, and I fucking hate traveling, and I was in a bad mood because one of the things that happens while people are traveling is you'll be like, okay, I'll get us there. And if it doesn't go completely and utterly smooth, then everybody tries to jump in and be like, oh, I'm going to help because obviously you can't fucking do it. When it's like, no, it's just a slight hiccup. You can walk a couple more steps. You'll be okay. So then I was just like, okay, if you want to fucking lead the way, you can look up a map on your phone just as well as I can. I'm just going to put on my headphones. So I put on my headphones and I listened to fucking the Berserk theme song opening on loop until we got to the hotel. There's no shame, no shame. There's no change, no change. Tell your mother, your brother another way. Uh-huh. Oh, like they join all the episodes together into one video. God, that must have been some work. Fuck that. I'm not saying that I don't appreciate it. I'm just saying that there's no way fuck I'd do that. I'm trying to climb Kugane Tower. They're singing about penises. Well, that's a theory. Who knows if we had to or not? There's also there's the people that say that Japan was on the cusp of surrendering and we didn't need to do that. It was unnecessary. It was an unnecessary show of force for the world. Blah blah blah. And then there's the other side that says that no, they weren't going to surrender. It would have been at least 9 more months of island-to-island hardship and battles like happened in Iwo Jima again and again until we finally got to the mainland, and then tried to seize the mainland without any profitability. So there's some people that say that overall, dropping those 2 bombs saved Japanese lives because it forced the capitulation, as opposed to a long drawn-out land battle. But that's all hindsight. Who knows? Yeah. But they there's the people that are like, we have bomb, we use bomb. Yeah. But The one thing that does lend credence to the we had to do it in order to force the capitulation theory, though, is we didn't drop one bomb and they surrendered. We had to do two. I believe you're remembering it wrong. Because I think we dropped... No, I think that they dropped one, asked for surrender, and then dropped another. Looking it up right now. Yeah. Here, it wasn't back to back on the same day. Hiroshima was on August 6th of 45, and Nagasaki was on August 9th of 45. So we dropped the first one, asked for capitulation. They said, no, we'll fight until we all die. And we dropped the second one, and they said, okay, yeah, you win. We are not having that drop on Tokyo. Another fucked up thing is, did you know that Tokyo was one of the initial fucking bombing sites? Yeah. No, they, I think they called it off at the last minute and changed target. That's a fucked up way to look at it, but pretty goddamn true. But yeah, that was initially one of the primary targets, and like, I think that somebody, there was something of why they changed it. Another one that would have been just fucking horrendous culturally if it would have happened was Kyoto, because Kyoto is just pretty much a fucking historical shrine city. Like, there's just all sorts of fucking crazy historical stuff. Like, there's no like, there was like no real military stuff that was happening out of Kyoto, but because it was such a populated space and like intel was a little bit wrong, they were looking at that as a target too. Like that would have been like fucking just straight up bombing Paris because you're fighting France. But only making sure that you get the fucking art districts. Dude, have you seen the shit in the news about Paris? They're going through their fucking BLM protests right now. Some of the videos are insane though. They had a video of like some fucking jackasses broke into a fucking parking garage and pushed like destroyed the parking garage wall and then like pushed like 4 or 5 cars into the street from like the 3rd or 4th floor, and then the fucking cars hit the fucking ground and just fucking exploded. Well, I think that, like, my feelings on it are a little bit complex because, like, yeah, like, they're having some problem with that, but at the same time, they're causing their problem because they completely abandoned their faith and outlook on stuff, and, like, the Western religion is there, so, like, a vortex is going to come in, since there's a fucking no occupied space of a religious faith there, something's going to come in and fucking fill up that space. And why would people be weirded out and like confused that it's Islam? Because Islam's a pretty strong faith people right now. Yeah. Well, and I guess that... And I guess the kid that... the last thing I heard about the kid that got fucking murked was... for one, he was in a German car that had Polish license plates, which was like reported to them that those are like drug trafficking rings. They had him pulled over, and they had somebody that they were afraid that he was going to be a flight risk. And then, of course, one of the cops ended up jumping on the kid ended up fucking trying to peel away and get out of there because they're saying it was because he was scared. But of course he's scared if he's fucking dealing drugs and fucking being confronted by the cops. But then the cop jumped up on the windshield, told him to pull over, he wouldn't. So the cop tried to shoot to injure, which you don't shoot to injure because that doesn't fucking work. And the kid fucking died because he made bad decisions. But like all these fucking intellectuals are fucking twisting it. That's like, no, it's because his life was so hard that he was forced to make these decisions. It's like you don't have to make bad decisions. I can understand to a degree why someone would make those bad decisions. I get that, but at the same time, you can't take away personal responsibility from someone. And I think that also, just like in Europe, like the United States with the BLM George Floyd riots, it was a perfect storm of people having too much energy from fucking being locked up and not doing anything else, and then being allowed to go outside for this thing and allowed to be destructive. So if you're allowed to do jackassery, everybody's going to do jackassery. You know what I mean? We saw that every year during Halloween in Sydney, and that was a small town where people were allowed and convinced that they could get away with fucking egging every car that drove by and doing all the crazy stuff, and people fucking did it. Yep, I can't remember who wrote that. But it's true. I mean, when good people, we're running into a thing like the guy in New York City. There was a guy in New York City who was a Marine. A guy on the subway was acting the fool. New York City, get a rope. But there was the Marine in New York City who was on the subway, and some dude was acting crazy, acting the fool, and like saying that he doesn't care if he goes to jail, he doesn't care if he dies today. And the Marine like went up and just fucking tried to take him down and fucking put him in a fucking chokehold and like a rear naked choke and everything else. And the guy fucking died because who knows, he was probably fucking hopped up on some fucking fentanyl or whatever. And then now everyone on the subway car was like, yeah, that guy was fucking crazy. I'm thankful that guy did that. There were like 3 other guys that helped him hold the guy down. But guess who's the one fucking person that's getting charged by the fucking city of New York for defending that fucking train car from somebody who's being a lunatic, especially after people in New York have been fucking pushed and thrown onto train tracks and all that other stuff by homeless people in the fucking subway. Because the cops don't do their job, people have to defend themselves. And then after people defend themselves, they fucking prosecute them for it. They're trying manslaughter and second-degree murder. Like, I think they put second-degree murder, and I think they're going to try to plead it down to manslaughter. But the guy's like, no, it was fucking purely self-defense. So this is a fucking case that's going on right now that's going to put into doctrine if people in New York have the ability to protect themselves or not. Which, I think that's one of the purposes of the Second Amendment, is not just to have you'll have the people that it's like, it's to protect against tyranny and it's to be able to go hunting and all this other stuff. I think the main reason, in my opinion, for the Second Amendment is so that everybody has the baseline ability to be able to defend themselves regardless of their physical strength. Well, it's over intellectualization. You have people that are not smart, who go to school, who are told they're smart because they went to school, and then have I ever told you about the reason why college is a little bit fucked up right now? In my opinion. Well, no, that aside, like, the reason that I think that college is fucked up right now is because one of the key things of college has and always will be writing research papers, right? You tracking? Like, you research something and then you write a paper about it, about your findings that you found inside this stuff that you were researching. But the way that college makes you crank out these papers fast and furiously, just like continuously, you don't have time to actually research something. So it's not like it was back in the day where, like, you're like, I'm going to research this. I'm going to get 3 books on this subject. I'm going to read through these books, reference stuff inside these books for my findings that I found after reading these 3 books to get a better understanding of the whole of the subject. Now you have people that are like, okay, so my theory is I believe this, and I'm just going to Google and find like 3 points that agree with my topic regardless of the background of the study and or book. So they'll go and they'll like pull quotes from places at random, regardless of what the actual study was or what was actually being done or said inside the book, and just find stuff to support their theory, no matter how weak or obscure or just fucking stupid the idea is. And people will applaud it, being like, "Oh yes, you definitely you made the greatest argument ever. This completely makes sense on why we should fucking neuter everyone. Yes, we want everybody to have higher singing voices. You're completely right. Cut everybody's fucking balls off." Like, they're not forced to like come to a full understanding of everything and like look at everything and the past and everything else. No, they just have to defend their little fucking trove of ideas in 4 pages, and everybody's like, "Yep, that's how you do it now." And then they force people to write so often that, and on horseshit, you have to write so often on horseshit that now you get these people that are very talented at just writing horseshit. And then stupid people will read it and agree with it just because it's written down horseshit. And you don't have enough people with the bravery because they're afraid that it's going to happen to them in turn. They don't have enough of the bravery to go, "Oh, I see what you've written here. This is horseshit." Because they're afraid that someday, while they're doing their thing, somebody's going to come up to them and go, "Oh, you remember when you called my thing horseshit? Now I can call your thing horseshit." "Yes, I know you got tenure, but you're fired." "What? You can't fire me. I have tenure." But yeah, I mean, when just the fucking levers of how you're forced to, you're not actually forced to process the information and think about anything. You just have to fucking regurgitate it as fast as you can and then get on to the next subject so that you forget about what you were just fucking thinking about. It's not conducive to actually learning and actually researching. It doesn't help that we're a fucking 15-minute society now instead of a fucking 30-minute society. We're down even less time with our fucking attention span now. But I digress. Everybody that has a college degree is way smarter. What do you know? I went to Harvard for underwater basking weaving. I have a liberal arts degree in gender studies. How's that liberal arts? It's not, but yet it's better than what you have. What do you have? Real world experience? Please. I refuse to give up on people. People are dumb, panicky animals. Well, I think it's cowardice. They feel like they don't have a choice because they're not willing to put up with any consequences of what they're going through. God, who was that? There's a philosopher that Alexander the Great loved because when Alexander the Great did his